think I kind of enjoy the fact that it's about something real. It's not fiction. It's a more, I guess, entertaining way of getting actual factual information. Trying to get information out using a joke is usually a lot more effective than trying to use like scare tactic or just like a dry medium. But yeah, if you can entertain people, I think that they will retain that knowledge more effectively. I think that documentaries have a requirement to be honest, and if they're going to say that it's going to be truth, then yes, it has to be true. But if the person is going to say, right from the get-go that, hey, this is my own skewed worldview or whatever they're going to do, then they should be honest to that statement as well.
How do you know if what you're seeing then is true? Where does that voice come in? Where does the maker say, "Hi guys, everything you're about to see is totally true"?
I guess you could incorporate that into the introduction. The people I think of are like Ken Burns and Michael Moore. Because they've had those big documentaries that have been out there, like you see them in theaters and whatnot.
Like fiction or subjective dimensions to a certain event might enable a different kind of stranger truth.
How
I don't think that audiences necessarily would know if a documentary is truthful. I think it helps that documentaries provide evidence if they're advancing specific claims. I think when you're watching a self-reflexive documentary, part of that doubt about what you're watching might be the whole crux of the project.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that documentaries have some kind of special claim to being truthful?
More than the standard Hollywood fare, yes. I think so. At least that's the idea behind it, I think. That's what you're expecting, I think, when you go to see a documentary.
What?
Truth. Just to see something. I just know from experience how manipulative a filmmaker can be. So it's true. I mean, you're always seeing the documentarian's point of view, but that's true for all truth to some degree. All truth is filtered through something, I suppose. So.
Should documentaries be entertaining?
If you want people to watch them, yes.
So,
if you want people to watch documentaries, then they need to be entertaining. They need to have something to keep your audience interested.
and what are
For me, for the most part, a story is what keeps me entertained and interested in a film. It's much harder when the film itself is much more abstract and surreal or whatever. But visuals also, really strong visuals and special effects and explosions and things don't hurt, I suppose. They certainly keep you interested. But yeah, I think for me, mostly a compelling story. My favorite documentaries I can think of are usually either had a story built into them or became a story.
I like to learn about things that are real in the world, and that's why I watch them. They're a bit more real, at least, than fictionalized stories. I guess you can't really just tell based on what you're watching alone, but based on other things that you gather from the world and your experiences and perhaps what you've been reading in the news or like in books and magazines, then you can kind of get a greater picture. I think it should be well edited. I think it should be like visually cohesive. I think that people should speak clearly and the sound should be good, but I don't think that amounts to entertainment.
what would amount to entertainment?
Having excessively dramatic music, having special effects, or particularly like strange cuts between different scenes, maybe doing quick cuts instead of longer cuts. That would be like maybe making it a bit more entertainment style filmmaking. And perhaps it's a tone or an opinion of the producer or the director rather than the facts themselves.
Do you think documentary makers should steer clear of certain things?
No, I don't think so. I can't think of anything. As long
Mm.
it would be problematic for me to make a film about something I didn't have enough knowledge about or experience, maybe even personal experience, especially when it comes to like racism or bigotry. I would say, make sure you're the right person to make that film.
Well, I guess I don't, but I think that I'm a pretty good reader of people and, if somebody's telling the truth or not. I realize that documentaries can be edited in a way that maybe they lead you to believe a certain thing, but, I don't know. I'm sure there are times I've been led astray, but generally I think I can, tell.
I'm highly critical about what truth is.
Have you ever felt tricked watching a documentary film?
Oh yeah, watch the History Channel anytime.
You think the History Channel, how do you think they trick people?
They try to use facts. They say that science proves this. That is one of the things I hate most, is when they say science proves something. Science does not prove anything. It can disprove or it can support a theory, but science cannot prove anything. No, documentaries, I don't think they've ever changed my mind about something that I've already got my mind set on.
Sure.
I mean, technically everything is persuasive. We as artists, we like generate context for someone to feel something. In a way, you're creating the conditions or manipulating the conditions for someone to feel something. I think that, it would be. There's no such thing as like unpersuasive anything, unpersuasive art, unpersuasive. I know what you're asking, but I think it's important that we all check ourselves, because the idea of like neutral, non-political art, non-polemic ideas don't exist. I think we all exist within context in a very politicized, very like the dynamo of like polemic and problem, and so there is no neutral way to tell a story. It's very subjective. Our stories are subjective. We live in like the conditions of education, it's a very manipulative. I've been being manipulated since I was in first grade, and I didn't like it.
So, given that that's the reality.
And usually when I'm, actually sitting down and watching TV, I want to relax and not be sort of having a lecture.
Yeah.
Whether it's something that I believe in or not, I would much rather relax to watch when I'm watching TV than sort of have a feeling like I'm at school.